Okay, guys, welcome to this episode of the Local Yokels Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. First and foremost, I want to get a couple things out of the way. We had a hugely successful Feed My Lambs fundraiser, but we can always do more. Reach out to them through minormemorial.org/lambs if you want to donate, sponsor a child, or just volunteer. We'd love to have you. Also, I want to give a little bit of a recognition to a couple things because the content we're going to talk about in this show, I want to talk about a couple of folks that I know that can help you. One of them is my good friend, Hannah Lasapio at Happy Mind Psychiatry. So look it up. She's got her info. I'll put it in the sheet, but she's online. She has a webpage and also on Facebook. If you need a little bit of extra mental health care, that's a good place to go. And especially if you have trauma, things of that nature. So Hannah Lasapio, Happy Mind Psychiatry. I believe it's in Byhalia. So also Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Group. Misty Gray and her gang. I just want to give them a shout out because this content we've been talking about the last couple of days or week, I guess, really heavy. You can really thank them for the hard work they do for our children here locally and protecting them. Okay? All right. Without further ado, we want to say special guest. I don't know her, but I just met her, and she's got a lot to say. So I thought, why else? Let's give her this platform and let her just go out, spend all the time you want to talking about this topic instead of just being a 2-minute clip on TikTok. That's so right. Welcome, Aubrie Johnson.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Yeah. So what is on your mind today, Miss Aubrie?
Ooh, well, it's the Sunday.
Yeah.
It's the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And, I think my sights are set on, justice for the family in all forms, the judge.
Yeah.
The lack of support from church leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the details you've seen with obviously what sparked all this is for people that's watching this that may not know exactly. I think everybody probably knows, to be honest with you. But if you don't, this case going on with Lindsey Whiteside, and we have about a week ago on Monday, they came down with the sentencing. And it was really nothing, from a standpoint of punishment for fits the crime. So walk people through this a little bit from start to finish, kind of give them the backstory and then how you get involved. And, of course, you're putting yourself out there a little bit. I'm just creating a platform for people to talk. I really haven't shared a lot of opinions on it, but you have.
I have.
And just start from there and let's talk about the details of the Lindsey Whiteside story.
Okay. So I attended church at Getwell Church, probably around COVID.
Okay.
Started going there. Loved it. Loved the pastor. Felt real comfortable there. Have had interactions with Lindsey Whiteside.
Okay.
I've outside of church.
Okay.
And so when this kind of all first came out around November last year, it was a pretty vague letter that was just there's been accusations brought forth against Lindsey Whiteside, and we've investigated it and we've determined that they were true, and she's been, removed from the staff. And I'm like, everybody, all our group chat friends, people I've done, Sunday life groups with and whatnot, we're like, what's going on? What's going on? Me, I assume she must have got DUI,
Right. You didn't know. They didn't tell you what.
Didn't tell us what. So it was a good 2 weeks before I found out that she had sexually assaulted. Say that.
You say whatever you want on here. Yeah, I don't care.
TikTok monitors you.
They do. So you're a little bit. She sexually assaulted
a minor child. Yeah. Well, my first thought was a boy. Mm-hmm. That was my first thought. And then, through talk, it came out that no, it was in fact a female.
Right.
And, my head went to spinning.
Right.
I'm in group chats with friends and, family, and I'm like, what in the world? What in the world? Who, mm-hmm. And, it was even months later before I found out who. It wasn't, the family wasn't anybody that I personally knew, but I knew them.
Yeah.
And I just, it just weighed on me because, look, I'm sitting here on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram, and I'm watching this Lindsey Whiteside all over that Norton's boutique day in and day out. Happy, smiling, come shop with me, fit check, outfit of the day. And I'm like, Am I living in the same world that everybody knows about this is living in, or does just not anybody know about the details of it?
Nobody knew the details. That was a problem, yeah.
It's a problem because the Whitesides, they spun that narrative from the beginning, and it's like the DA said, when the church investigated it themselves and didn't directly involve them, it gave the Lindsey Whiteside enough time to be like, she's the narcissist. It gave her enough time to control it. Yeah. And that's what she did.
Go to friends and family. Yeah. Control the narrative.
That's what she did. She spun it.
To where it wasn't,
She called it adultery in her own words.
Wow.
Adultery. I put that on last night because I don't want people to forget. That was her Facebook post in July.
Oh, wow.
And she had been, she got caught in adultery.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, that's not adultery.
No, not even
that's
close.
That's not adultery.
No, not at close. Yeah, so like the biggest issue, I think that the big heat right now is on people writing letters of character, you know, on her behalf. You know, we'll get into that as the story goes, but like, you know, maybe they didn't know all the details up front like you did. You know,
do you know how long it took me to find that affidavit and those details?
How long?
5 minutes.
Okay. So they didn't really investigate too much. Right. Okay. So and look, I'll be honest with you folks, like I kind of knew about it when it happened, but it was like just a little news clip. Yeah. Nothing really got pushed out about it. But now that I know more about it, with obviously doing the episode with District Attorney Matthew Barton, I got informed heavily. And, you know, obviously knew what was going on. But I think that just from the standpoint, even if they didn't know much, but they do know that she pled guilty because as of December 9th, I think of 2024, she'd already plead guilty. Yeah, she pled guilty. So that would have been probably public record pretty close to where without that. So you're saying even after that, she's out here acting like nothing happened. Nothing. She's on social media. Yeah. She's working somewhere locally. They're supporting her. Still are. Have no affiliation. Don't know them. But I do know there's some other cases that are involving that as well. Because someone went up there and was outraged and was picketing. And that poor feller, I think he's doing court here pretty soon. Yeah. So hopefully they give him a little bit of grace on that one. So, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. However, the outrage never really came.
Never came.
It never came.
I was raging on the inside.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the public goes, I guess they were waiting to see what happens with the sentencing. Because one of the things we need to be clear with folks is there was no plea deal offered. They had everything. 60-something thousand pages of text. 64,000. So we're trying to wrap up, folks, to let y'all know that they didn't have to offer a plea deal because they had everything. She was guilty. You know, absolutely guilty, 100%. And even after she realized that they had all this evidence, she did say, yes, I did it. I am guilty. So that was December 9th or whatever they indicted her. Probably within a week or so, all this stuff happened. And so therefore, going forward, there's no deal to be had. For some reason, this should have probably been dealt with by February or March. Yeah. And it had been over. We'd have probably got a better sentence for sure. Guarantee you. But because the two judges involved had some familiarity with her or the victim, I'm not sure, but they recused themselves, which is probably the best thing to do in this case. But I'm not sure. I'm with you. I'm a little bit kind of like, maybe that was an easy out. Yeah. So, however, they had to find someone to basically, deal with the case. Brought in an outside judge from another district.
Andy Howarth.
Andy Howarth. Thank you for that. You get the details. I can see it and you can do the details. And therefore, he comes in, and it takes all this time when it should have been done with this in a couple of months. Yeah. You know what I mean? And would have been dealing with this probably with a stiffer sentence as well if he had not been in play because, man, holy cow, what was that guy thinking? And if you wonder why we're continuing to talk about this and doing a show, this is the whole thing, guys. This sentence was anything but just absolutely ridiculous.
Right, because who don't want to be stuck in their home from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night? Exactly.
That's what we all do. Yeah. So most of us. So, but the reason why we continue talking about it, the reason why I asked Aubrie on the show, and actually she was just like, heck yeah, I want to get on there. I want to talk. Because we're trying to keep the outrage going a little bit because of the fact that we got one shot, possibly to get the DA's, he put a request in to the state Supreme Court, correct, for them to ask the judge to revisit sentencing. And this is why we're hoping the judge gets the message that, like, holy cow, man, you have absolutely alienated a whole region of people, especially in the county of DeSoto, that you didn't represent their children or them, the victim, anybody. Period.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I know they don't have to answer for their decisions, but man, people want to know what were you thinking, because there's a lot of things that he did do that would have, past cases that would have been great for this.
Yeah.
And then you said the one we talked about with the gentleman that you posted yesterday.
Quintez Hagen.
The family didn't even want him to be prosecuted. Yeah. And he gave him a heck of 7 years. So there's no consistency with this judge's rulings. And then when he comments on Lindsey about her not being a scary person, to him, so what? Yeah. What about the children, the victims, the children? So
befuddles me.
Yeah.
That victim sitting in that courtroom when he said that.
Right in front of her, man.
Right
After
there.
he heard all that, I guess that, I don't know.
Her testimony.
The testimony.
What happened to her?
Yeah, everything. And it was graphic, they said. The guy from TVMO, I talked to him quite a bit, Mark Bullock, credit to Mark. He said, he goes, Neil, it was hard for me to listen to. Yeah. And I'm a guy that's been in the military and stuff, and I've seen some stuff, and he said, that was really hard for me to listen to, and he said he
looked around the room and kind of watched people's faces change.
Yeah, just drop. Because they didn't realize it either.
But that, like I said, that affidavit, I found it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, that was 3-4 sentences, and it's pretty freaking explicit.
Yeah.
Like, and this is kind of the argument I'm having with people. I want to know the facts. I want to know the facts. Well, listen, you've heard from the victim's grandmother.
Yeah.
You're hearing from me.
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want the victim to sit in front of you so you can hear it and for yourself and cry? Like, what do you want at this point?
Right.
Like, that's why I'm so frustrated right now. And it goes back, to the church too, because they weren't there.
Yeah.
They weren't there. The leadership wasn't there. I mean, the gospel outweighs man's law to be silent.
Was there, I'll let you say why their reasoning was why they weren't there.
They didn't want to create division.
In the church. Yeah, and what that comes off to, folks, to me, that don't go to their church, and you that did go to their church, we don't want to lose our money. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Period. So, yeah, period. So you decided not to support the victim, a child within your congregation, the whole family within your congregation, So it was a wrong decision.
Oh, yeah. Like, first of all, you were advised wrong. You put out that statement, the churches put out that statement that under legal counsel advice, whatever, they were instructed not to go to the hearing.
Yeah.
Baby, the Lord talks about in Ezekiel 34:2-4, woe to the shepherds that won't stand with their flock. Like, that's dead faith.
Yeah.
You can't convince me otherwise.
And they knew she admitted guilt.
In fact, from what the DA said, they did their own little investigation before they even let him know.
Yeah. Well, before they called the sheriff's department.
Yeah, before they called the sheriff's department.
Yeah. And again, let's, lawyers. All right. So this goes back to everything's a litigation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Protect you financially. You know what I mean? Don't worry. Yeah. Don't say nothing, because don't go up there and support them, because it could look bad. You might get a lot. So what? The worst part of this is most people that I know is not going to come to your church.
Period.
Like that, just because of that, that particular campus.
I'm not going back.
Yeah.
And I think if the pastor was to come forward, and say, look, I took the wrong legal advice. I took legal advice instead of following God's law. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry I didn't stand with the family. To the family, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He could redeem himself, but he's not.
Yeah, I don't think.
He's not.
I mean, the family left the church, the whole family. I'm pretty sure. Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's been people say, well, they still went to that church for a little while, but again, they sheltered their child from this.
Yeah.
She didn't know what the loose lips of that church were saying.
Right.
That she didn't know that they were hugging the Nortons and the Whitesides and, come all ye faithful. She didn't know that. They were protecting her from that. So she didn't understand why she couldn't go to her church still.
And to be clear, I want to, this is something you and I talked about. We need to make clear to people, the Nortons, the Whitesides, any of these people, they didn't commit the crime.
They didn't commit the crime.
I want to make sure I make clear of that. So let's don't hold them accountable for Lindsey's actions.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these folks, but what they, and his family, I could see where it'd be hard. But I'm going to tell you right now, if that was my child, I would hold him up to justice myself. That's how I see life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? This is, I don't even know. If you call yourself a person of faith, you know what I mean, and you live your life that way, then you can see the wrong in this by far and away, the moral concept of it entirely. Our society does not allow adults to be with children in any capacity without another adult present. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
and if this had been a 27-year-old male youth pastor, that family wouldn't have let their daughter go on overnight trips with him.
The whole story is just crazy to me. Even the way that the family went to their church when the story was the daughter had some depression issues, some questions, had a little bit of questioning her life where she was at that time. She needed some guidance. Mm-hmm. And they just took her to the church. The church put her in the hands of the wolf. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I see it. It's nuts, man. That's what makes me cringe. I mean, they always find their way, and I say they, pedophiles, or predators, how you want to use the word.
This one is just the epitome of narcissist.
Yeah. And then on top of that, they're either in the school systems, you know what I mean? They find their ways. Everybody always says, man, they need to do a better job. I think the school district's doing the best they can.
Yeah, I want to say something about that. Yeah. There's a lot of DeSoto County School as a whole and the teachers are amazing. Amazing. Yes. I know plenty of them that absolutely do not stand for this, but they can't, they can't say anything, or they're just not mouthy like me, know. But DeSoto County School as a whole, the principals as a whole, the teachers as a whole, staff as a whole are amazing people. Yes, ones especially the ones I know personally. But there's couple of them that wrote letters, and that Ashley Ford that got on the stand and said what she said.
I've been asked about that name, and I've been looking into that.
Did you see the grandmother tell at the school board meeting what she said?
Yeah. Repeat it for us so everybody knows.
Well, I can't quote because I don't have it in front of me, but she essentially took the stand, and she said for the better part of the year, Lindsey Whiteside's been sleeping on and off of her couch. She victim blamed. She said, "Oh, we all knew she liked girls. Mm-hmm. She was consensual. Sure.
A child cannot consent.
15. This started. the grooming started at 15.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Again, the only thing that state law is 16 is the age of consent in Mississippi. But I think there's some age gap there, rules, and I don't know what they are. Do you know what they are?
Well, as long as they're under 18, if you're in a position of authority.
Well, that's what changes it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. In a regular world, if it was you at 16 and I just happen to know you, we met at Sonic or something, what is the age gap there? So 16. People understand. So 16 to what?
At 16 is the age of the consent. However old you want to be.
I don't think so. I think there's a 3 or 4 year. I don't know what.
I don't know the law on that one either.
I don't either. So if somebody chimes in when they see this, let us know. Yeah. But I'm thinking maybe 3 years. Like if you're 19, maybe 16, maybe that's the rule. I don't know. Yeah. 20 max.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once you, I don't know. I feel like once you graduate high school and get out of college, there's
such a gap.
There's gaps. Yeah.
But I think in this case it doesn't matter, because if you're a position of power and authority or influence, preacher, teacher, whatever. It doesn't matter. They got to be over the age of 18. Yeah. Period. It doesn't matter about the state's age of consent. That's where the law changes, and that's where she broke the law. Yeah. And then it was her job as the adult. It didn't even matter if that victim wanted it in the beginning. Yeah.
It don't matter. People say that. Yeah. Oh, she consented.
It doesn't matter. She can't consent. It's just against the law. That's
it doesn't matter if she was 15, 16, 17. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's what people need to know. So that's why this is really an abomination for the sentencing, because she admitted guilt. She knew she did wrong, and she even admitted that. And I'm sure she just thought, well, dang, I'm caught. You know what I mean? Kind of, it sounds like that's what happened. So I'll figure out the best way to get through it. Her parents hired one of the most high-profile attorneys in the whole region, and because
he screams, you're
innocent. Yeah. And on top of that, once the DA said, "Hey, we got all the evidence," then she admitted guilt immediately. Yeah. So here we are, and we're dealing with a judge that did the absolute worst thing we can all imagine, is pretty much let her off. in my opinion, public opinion.
Public opinion.
Because none of us are experts, by the way. Let's just be clear on that. I'm not. Aubrey's not.
No.
She just spent a lot of time researching this and stayed on top of it, and it's your passion to kind of like try to speak out for the victims and like the outrage. Now, we've talked about all the case stuff. The stuff that's got you really hot, and most of the moms and dads of the community is this teacher support and the church support.
Yeah.
These letters that they wrote.
I'm hot at that Judge Andy Howarth.
Well, yeah. Well, really, I'm hot at that dude.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm hot at him. I think everybody's hot at him because he's the reason why this is a real problem. Yeah. Had he done the right thing, we might not even know about all those letters of character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly, you know, those folks need to blame him because of the outrageousness of the sentencing. They need to blame him because they're sitting at home right now after I think they heard all that stuff in the courtroom that day about the testimony from the victim herself. By the way, man, what a strong young lady to sit up there and do that. I think about that. Ever since D.A. Barton told me that, he's like, and he was emotional when he was talking about that. What strength it would took, because I'm sure by now she realized, even looking back, how egregious someone that age would be even looking at her. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like, just my personal opinion, at 18, well, she's 18 now. She turned 18 a few months ago.
Okay.
At 18, I would have probably been able to start grasping the idea of how awful it was, but the trauma will go forever. Forever.
That's why I'm saying, like, she's going to have to deal with that, have very professional people help her. And by the way, not at a church. Stop doing therapy within your church, folks, unless they have a degree. Okay, in psychiatry or a psychologist or something training. Stop letting these people have access to your children or you. I understand spiritual guidance. Yeah. I understand that, and I don't want to take that from anybody. I think that's highly important in people's lives. But stop putting your children in the hands of people who have no clue what they're talking about other than their own personal opinion. Because
definitely in today's churches.
The training, you know what I mean? Like psychiatrists and therapists, they're trained. They're trained to see and work with individuals, and it's also very confidential. And here we are. We done blowed up and put this little girl all over the world because of her feelings that she had towards women. Okay, you know, a church has you can't change. I'm a firm believer people who they're going to be. All right, so you know if she's gay or not gay, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I love you all. I don't care. I want you to be who you are and be happy. Sometimes the churches suppress people's actual who they are. You know, and maybe that's part of Lindsey Whiteside's problem. And originally, you know what I mean? So she couldn't be who she was, you know what I mean? So she had to hide and be behind sheep's clothing because of her relationship in the church. Yeah. So then she finds access, you know what I mean? If that's the case, through the church. She could have absolutely
gone to the church herself and said, help me.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a problem.
I got a problem. Yeah. I find myself attracted to a child.
Was she not out openly gay?
I have absolutely. If you go back, her Twitter's been deleted.
Okay.
But there were tweets from years ago where she, you know, was, I mean, you could put two and two together.
But so what? So what if she is? Today's society is a little more acceptable to those things. Yeah. And by the way, I'm a firm believer in being who you are. I don't care. I don't care if you're gay, black, white. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Lesbian. I mean, it just, you have the right to your own dignity.
What you want to do with the consensual adult is your business.
That's right. A consensual adult.
Consensual adult.
Again, though, is it because, and I don't want to get deep diving here, but I mean, part of that problem is maybe she sought out a younger person because she could control them and that kind of thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, she used her position. That's why of power and authority in the church.
So for that, stop letting your children be especially when it comes serious about like sexuality or relationship stuff. Stop letting somebody in your church guide them. They may be the worst offender there is, and we just found out they are. So,
I mean, seeing this play out is definitely discouraging, especially when you've grown up, you know, in traditional churches, and you know, I know, like when I was growing up, if I had an issue and you know went to my pastor, he wouldn't have thrown his hands up and been like, I don't want to cause division, you know, you know. So today's churches, you know, it's discouraging. If you've grown up in church and then you're part of a church and you see this happening, you know, I've seen a lot of people say this is why I don't go to church anymore.
Yeah.
Period.
And on top of that, the victims that seen these other people out here we're not even talking about. We're talking about this particular victim, but what about the ones who saw this and saw where the church did not support her publicly?
And they're not going to come forward.
And they're not going to come forward. And then they get to the point of where this young girl puts herself to strength. She had to get on the bench in front of the whole entire courtroom and talk about all the graphic details and the trauma she had to go through dealing with this young lady.
Because they believed that Lindsey Whiteside was going to be leaving that day in handcuffs.
They were worried. Yeah.
And now it's all shattered down again.
Yeah.
And it's almost taken her back to the place that she was a year ago.
Yeah. Maybe worse. Maybe worse.
Maybe, yeah.
But what about those other ones that saw this and go, well, there ain't no way I'm coming forward now. I'll get dragged through the mud for nothing.
Absolutely,
and
there
on top
are.
of the trauma that I experienced through all this, now I got to deal with the fact that I got my accuser walking around everywhere. And so what? There's a law that says she can't go within whatever feet of children and other people. But is there going to be a cop walking with her every day?
Right. You know, what about, up there where she's working? I mean, you got businesses all up there that I know are upset. They don't want. I mean, what about those other businesses
Sure.
where we're fixing to come up to the holiday seasons where people are going to be out shopping with their kids all day long every day?
Yeah.
I mean, what about? We're living in a time where you'll be in the store shopping and the person waiting on you is a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
Child predator. You don't even know it.
Well, I think that's the case with most of them anyway, but this one's such a high-profile situation. People are going to know her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if the business chooses, then that's the choice they make. You know what I mean?
Choice. They're going to have to live with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not the business owner's sin. It's not the family sin. The family still wants to attend church. My opinion is there's a million other churches in DeSoto County. Find one.
Sure.
You don't have to go there.
That's right. Yeah.
But why would you?
Not knowing what I know now, there's probably some people that probably think they did the right thing. Shame on them if they think that. You're absolutely the minority.
Yeah. Even if you don't know anything about the Bible and you're not educated.
I think a 6-year-old could see the craziness in this.
I think so too.
Yeah. That's what the judge needs to hear. Yeah.
And at the time that Ashley Ford took the stand, what was that, Monday? I believe she is I don't know if she is anymore. I don't know. Let me be clear on that. But at that time, she was a 3-year-old class at the church.
On top of being a teacher in the DeSoto County School District.
On top of being a teacher.
Yeah.
Still a teacher in the DeSoto County School District.
I'm going to leave that up to the superintendent to deal with, because I know that there's some laws and stuff in there he has to go through. His hands are a little bit tied.
I think after that whole, I guess it was a protest at the school board, I went, but I went to just listen and watch.
And video.
Yeah. And video. And take notes on my handy dandy notebook. But I think after that, he didn't have to stay. The meeting was over. And that Charles Barton, he stayed.
He did.
I think he's a great guy. They stayed. He didn't have to do that. So he redeemed himself a little bit with me because he stayed. And he told, he said to everybody in the room, I will meet with every single one of y'all if it takes me 2 months, know. But I want to meet with the family first. And, they're giving them time. The family's giving them the time to do what they need to do.
Sure.
So, if you can't do it with your hands are tied, I get that. Because I think maybe he's not just the leader of it all,
Well, the thing people need to realize that I think there was a time when that office was the leader of it all.
Yeah.
And then they switched it to where instead of it being an elected position, he is appointed.
Shoot, maybe they need to come back to having it elected.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. The previous superintendent wielded a lot of power. And, and he was a great one too. But I think the board, somewhere along the way, I don't know if the state decided that or what, but the school board would actually appoint the superintendents instead of it being an elected position as well. So that's why the outrage with the board member who wrote the letter of character.
She is elected.
Right. She's elected. He can't do nothing with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even know who can remove her, to be honest with you.
I don't know. That's kind of what the question was at the board meeting the other day. Well, who's over your head? Who do we need to take this to? Like the state of Mississippi school board? I mean, is there one? I don't know.
I guess there is, yeah. I'm not very smart. I don't know that.
No, I'm not very smart about that either.
But I'm sure there's a higher power, but it's really difficult to remove people of office. Like, superintendents of the county, like those supervisors, the DeSoto County supervisors, they wield a lot of authority between all of them as a group.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of oversight of a lot of things, but I'm not sure they oversee that part. I think they help them with the budgets.
Why wouldn't she just say I resign?
Well, right. I think, to me, I know some people that know her personally, and they have a great opinion of her, and I'm sure she's a wonderful individual from their side of things. And I think even with some of the people from what I think that the people who even wrote those character letters for her, the teachers and all those kind of folks, maybe not knowing the details, thought it was an accusation. She probably duped them. She probably, in my opinion, she went to all of them. Like you said originally, it gave her time in between that accusation and the time that she was arrested to go out and kind of, make the movements, convince people, oh man, I just got this situation. She thought it was something. There was some text, but I didn't do anything. So it was easy for them to make a choice to support her.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I can kind of deal with that from a standpoint of I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. She admitted guilt. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then after she admitted guilt, we had this whole year's worth of stuff leaking and getting out and the outrage in the community I wasn't aware of, but I'm sure they were because they had their letters on the line.
And the family saw all this, saw all this support.
And even after she was subpoenaed to court by the DA and to testify, and she went on after the victim, heard all that testimony from the victim, and he asked her, even after this, and you've heard all this, are you still standing behind your letter of character? She goes, the
way I would have said, no, free me from these chains.
Right. She said, yes. That's right then is when he handed her that letter demanding her resignation. And she should have. Yes, she should have. I don't care how wonderful you are, how much you've done for the county. You absolutely let the children down in your school district by the way you behaved. Yeah. I don't care how much you love that lady. I don't care how much you believe in her.
Same thing with Ashley Ford.
She is a convicted sex criminal. That's how it works. So
period.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you can't remove her, you just don't vote her back in.
Don't vote her back in. So, and that's in 2028 if she don't step down.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I will say that's a long time.
It is a long time.
But, Usselton did.
I don't think they make a lot of money either. So it's like I don't think it's about money. I think, honestly, what I was going to get at with that is, I think sometimes our egos get involved in us being able to admit we've screwed up.
Yeah.
I think there's a whole bunch of people that should have been like, man, I am so wrong. I am so sorry I got involved in that. Yeah. I should have really investigated before I made this decision and put my name and my position, my elected position's name in this letter of power and influence, because she wanted to use her name and her board membership in that letter to reference to that judge. And that's where she should have been able to say, you know what, I screwed up.
How hard would that have been to say?
Not hard at all, but egos get in the way.
Right. Yeah. And we wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation about her.
I think people would have forgive her real quick, including the other people that involved, the school teachers and others, that had been like, guys, we got duped. I'm sorry, but I mean, I didn't know all that. I had no clue this was going on. People would have forgave them. I really believe the public would have too. But now, because they're just being quiet, they're not saying.
Same thing with the church leaders. Like if you just came out.
Same thing.
Ashley Ford. I don't know if you saw my TikTok last night that I posted.
You got so many. There's a few coming out all the time.
I posted one last night. And it was just kind of a recap. Yeah. Like I reposted in July 9th of this year, Lindsey had made a Facebook post.
I did see that.
Relating it to adultery. And then, the Nortons made a post kind of doubling down, supporting them. And then Lindsey made a post at that same time in August when my first, when I made it so public on TikTok, kind of, doubling down. But at that point, all these people that were, like you said, the teachers, they should have known. They should have known what kind of backlash this was going to get.
Well, I'm not sure they thought. I personally think that they probably thought she was going to get a little time, so it wouldn't have blown up like it did. I think any normal person, possibly even Lindsey herself, might have thought, I'm going to get a couple of years. I mean, I think I'm going to get a couple of years.
I don't know if she thought that.
Well,
but that's all my opinion.
Right. I really think that any normal person would have thought that would have carried some kind of sentence of jail time.
Yeah.
Even if 12 months. You know what I mean? Something. But I believe that even those ones that support, even them, probably were like, what? They just let her off?
Yeah.
Completely? And I know, look, it's lifetime registration of sex offenders and
But how
and all that
often do you
stuff,
look
but-
at that?
Well, I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah. When I had little kids around at my house, I checked it pretty regularly. You know what
See,
I mean?
I didn't even like, but my
Yeah.
kids were, it was probably all new if it even had come out yet to be able to access it online.
Yeah, because we're older.
Yeah.
We got-
Yeah. So I didn't, I mean, I don't look at it.
I don't really either. I think we depend on and by the way, I want to say this. This is no fault of our local law enforcement.
No, not at
This
all.
is no fault of our district attorney's office. All those people worked diligently to build a case. And it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
It happened pretty fast, so it didn't take them real long because all the evidence was so there. Church letterhead,
Yeah.
text messages, whatever. I mean, the girl was just, she wasn't thinking. She
Yeah.
thought she was, but she wasn't.
Yeah.
So they all did an amazing job. This fault of what we're dealing with is because of one judge's decision
Yeah.
and the influence of maybe others in his ear.
Yeah.
How good did those letters, were they really that persuasive to him? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of sometimes just look at him and think, you had your mind made up before you went in there.
You almost believe that a little bit, don't you? Yeah.
You had your mind made up before you went in there that you were going to let this girl off with bedtime
Well, there's a double
hours.
standard too, I think, sometimes with men versus women. If that had been a 25, 26-year-old man, I don't know the exact. I know she was 15 when the grooming started. Was Lindsey like 25 or 26 when it started?
Yeah, 25.
Yeah. If that had been a male, he'd be spending 30 years in Parchman
For sure.
right now.
Right now.
Yeah, never
I mean,
been a
there was
question
one
about
down
it.
there, I don't know, Yazoo, somewhere, South Mississippi,
Yeah.
same, almost to a T type
Yeah.
situation. And he's 10, 20, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
He got. And then there's one in Tennessee, which I know, we're
Different
Mississippi to
state.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I mean, he got accused of it. He's on house arrest. Whiteside just bebopped around here wherever she wanted to go. We just happy to go. The final straw for me,
Yeah.
when I finally was like, I'm not going to watch this anymore, and I'm going to make this TikTok. I think I had 15,000 followers at the time, which
Yeah.
is decent.
That's really decent for here. You're
Yeah.
talking about a good percentage of our county.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the final straw for me was spring break this past year, when she was just so happy on these Facebook Lives, come shop with me, look at the outfits of the day, just, how them content creators do,
Yeah.
And I'm texting with my friends and I'm like, how is she so confident
Yeah.
to go on these lives, where there's thousands of people watching? That's so confident.
Because in her mind, she don't think she did anything
She
wrong.
didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of when I was like, I can't take it anymore. And then my final straw, when I just was like, I'm doing this, was when all the kids that were employed there were going back to college for the year, that had worked the summer, and they made a post about, we wish you the best of luck. And she's sitting there with them kids, and I'm unpacking my kid at college.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm done. I didn't tell anybody I was going to, I own a business, so I told the people that work for me out of respect for them, hey, I'm fixing to blow this wide open.
Yeah.
But they stand with me.
Yeah.
So I made that post, and that was on a Thursday. And within a couple of hours, one of my best friends messaged me, and she was like, what have you done? And I said, I can't be quiet about it anymore. And you know that because we've had in-depth conversations, about how this is it's tearing me apart from the inside and wanting to get out,
Right.
my opinion. And she said, I agree with you. I can't say I'm glad you did it because I'm scared for you.
Yeah.
And then, it just I just kept up. I did the lives, I did whatever to keep people up to date on it, because from the time this happened, it was November. I made that TikTok in August.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had talked about it.
Right.
Nobody. The news covered it for a day or two. I had talked about it with everybody till I was blue in the face, and I was just like, we got to get to talking about this. The trial's coming up. Like the trial is in a month, and no one's talking about this. And at the time, I didn't know who the judge was. I didn't even know that about the two that had recused themselves at the time. But I wanted them to feel pressure from the public.
Sure.
So that was my driving force behind it, is let's get this judge to feel the pressure. And I'm not going to lie. When I found out the verdict, which I didn't go to the court case. I didn't go to the trial. I thought it would be best that I not rear my wiry head.
Yeah.
They might not have even let me in. But I was just outside of it, and as soon as I got the phone call Like as soon as the verdict was read, I was shaking. And I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Now I really have to give my opinions on it.
Sure.
Because that judge, like you said earlier in the show, at the core of everything, and we can sit here all day and we can talk about how all these people are supporting her. Everybody knows who's supporting her. Everybody knows who didn't support her. We all know that.
Yeah.
But the core issue here is that judge.
100%.
100%.
It's always on him.
The family, the friends, the sweat in their sin, they want to stand and support it. You go,
that's on you.
That's on you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta sleep with that. You know what I mean? And so I want to, my personal opinion is, I don't know if it was anything other than being a school teacher and you're in charge of other kids and you can support that. If you were the mailman, I don't give a damn. But you're dealing with our children. Yeah. So like that in itself, we can't have that. Mm-mm. I mentioned on the thing with D.A. Barton, we had a perpetrator in my world. He had 20 victims, and the DA at the time offered a plea to him so that the children didn't have to go in front of their abusers. And to me, those laws need to be changed. When you got them dead to the right like that, don't be offering them shit. Like, let's get them, put them out, keep them out. That dude got out in like 7 years, and he had 20 known victims that came forward, and we don't know how many didn't. You know, and
that's this case right here. How many did you?
Well, I don't know that. I don't want to speculate on what she may or may not done because we've only got one victim, right? And the way that victim was found. I mean, if her mother hadn't got involved, would we even know today? Yeah. Because that could have went on and on until she waited till she was an adult, and then they could come out. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows what would happen? But good on her mom. You know what I mean? Like, good on her mom and her family for supporting her and being like, hey, this is not okay. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And my heart just goes out to them because, how much, which she shouldn't feel any guilt, the mom at all. But just imagine.
Her mom and dad feel terrible. Yeah. Because they think they gave her access to this predator. Do. You know what I mean? Right. I know they do because, I think I would. I'd be like, I let that in my house, that monster have access to my children. Not only, by the way, to the victim, but there's little children in that house. Little children. And, I know I'm sure they investigated that deeply to make sure nothing else happened. But that in your mind, you think, how did I allow that? On my watch,
that's your home.
Yeah, that's your home.
Safe place. Yeah. Like the grandmother said, she gets to go home every day to her safe place. Yeah. And their safe place has been just totally destroyed. Yeah. And goes back to the judge. Just, take yourself out and
that's the thing, folks. So that's why we're here, by the way. That's why we're talking about this, and we're going to continue to talk about it. And we're going to blow up everybody's social media that we can that's talking about this. Share it, post it, comment on it. Because the whole point of this is not to, I don't make a dime off these things, by the way. It costs me a lot of money to do these things. But I know in your case, I'm sure you don't either. It's just one of those things where you got a passion for trying to, bring awareness to this, because it's not only about this particular victim, but others. Like, how do we deal with this others?
This is setting up this is dangerous territory we're in, because what happens when Redneck Ralph, it happens to his daughter, and he has seen that the justice system doesn't, punish victims the way, abusers as the way that they need to be punished. What's he going to do?
I will say this, Aubrie, in defense of our judges we do have here. They're extremely good. Mm-hmm. The ones who recuse themselves, they do a good job at putting these predators away. Yeah, with the DA's office and our great local Leos, all the child advocacy groups, all those people that are involved. This one particular judge, who does not belong to us, by the way.
He's at District 3?
Yeah. A retired judge at that.
Retired, yeah.
And I think DA explained.
And so we can't even call on him to, resign because he's retired.
He's retired. You can't even ask for his retirement because he's retired. It's a weird thing. They require him, DA Barton said it has to be, they have to have sit on a circuit court somewhere in the state of Mississippi for 5 years, and they have to be retired and over the age of 65. That is the qualifying
How many judges were qualified? Do you know?
He said there's not many of them statewide that are substitutes, so to speak. Because when you have recusals I bet it don't happen very often to where you get a total recusal.
Yeah, and I think it would have been it would have happened a lot faster if the judges hadn't had to recuse themselves.
Right. It probably would have been a February, March thing, because they had an indictment so quickly. And I think that's what the DA was saying, that it was going to be a real quick over and done. They had her she probably would have been in prison. This one judge, to me, lack of judgment. Yeah, Angie Haworth. You're going to get us in trouble with that. We're going to be like, he's going to be after me. So, whatever though, it's an abomination. It really is. And so I absolutely agree with you on that part. But it's his fault. Yeah. That's why we're talking about this.
I can't help but wonder, has our governor not heard about this by now? Like, are there people...
Somebody tag him up, send it to him.
Send it to him. Like, you can't tell me, like, I've had people reach out to me from New York, West Virginia, Florida. Like, you can't tell me that Tate Reeves ain't heard about this. Like... Is there, I don't know, maybe you don't know either, and this is a question for district attorney. Is there not something else that can be done? Like, is it, because this comes back down to that judge to re-sentence her, right? The same judge.
Same judge. It's, if you've ever watched cases in the past, like, do you remember the West Memphis 3?
Oh, yeah.
So part of the problem was that judge had to be the one to admit the wrongdoing in the case, and all that stuff. And they actually had a trial and all that. So it wasn't just a sentencing hearing, but it took so long because he would never, it almost comes down like it's an ego thing sometimes, I think, with him. Like,
for sure.
I feel like that could possibly be what that is.
I almost feel like, in my opinion, that he's just sitting there kind of.
So what?
Yeah.
I'm retired.
Yeah.
I made my decision. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not giving it a second thought.
So that's the concern. So we have kind of a one-shot thing here to where if the state asks him, they have to ask him. They can't make him, by the way.
Yeah.
Can you revisit this?
He needs to feel the pressure.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing this.
But will he?
Well, that's what you hope. Maybe the outrage from the community being loud enough. Maybe the school board realizing, I think that they finally see, and I know one of those guys very well, and I think he's one of the most amazing people I ever met in my life. I really do. He's a genuine good person. He's been in law enforcement. Now he advocates for children on a very, very, every day. He's everywhere. He goes wherever he can do to support the children, and that's Gerald Wheeler. And I really do think a lot of him. So I know that he's one of the ones that got up and left, but I think that's because
he met with the family afterwards.
Right. Yeah. He has the best in mind, but I think Gerald's old school, and he's like, there needs to be some order to this. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be.
And he realized too, there's not a damn thing they can do. Like, there's nothing they can do.
Their hands are tied, and but I think for me, and why I was putting so much pressure on them was say anything other than what you said.
Yes. Just come out and say, guys, we just can't do it. Yeah. Like, man, we feel you. And it did come out later that they did ask her to resign.
Friday. Yeah. I was proud of that letter.
Yeah, I was very proud of them. And I think it actually happened early on, though. I think they actually had asked her before all this, before it got out. I want to say, I think that's what happened. As a group, they went to her and said, hey, this is not a good look for the board. You've got to do something here.
But I guess it goes to ego and just character.
I think
because
so.
If a group of people came to me and was
your
like,
peers, your equal peers,
you're in the wrong here, even if I was gung-ho and no, I'm not, I'm always right. I am. And I feel like even at that
point. Off camera, by the way, I want to make sure everybody knows this. We've got Aubree's beautiful mother sitting here going, She's
always
exactly right. She's always slapping her hand going, yes, that's true.
Woo, my husband will really tell you I'm always right.
That's right. But give him a shout out.
Yeah, give it Sean Johnson, my beautiful little house husband who's at home taking care of the home while I'm out here running my mouth.
That's right. Well, he's got to be supportive. That's for sure.
He's supportive, but he's he's just good. He's good. But anyway,
thank you, Sean, for putting up with so much.
Nobody else would.
And how about you, Mom? Do you have your dad?
I couldn't have been born to any. Oh, I'm my dad's child.
Oh, okay. Because she's very reserved, very beautiful, by the way. She's put together. Okay. Yeah. So your dad is the one. Yeah. I got you. I got you. Absolutely. So
my dad took over in me.
Yeah. Well, that happens. That's. I've got one or two of mine. One of them's kind of a mix between me and her mom. One of them's totally like her mom, or one of them's totally like his mom. And then one of them just a carbon copy of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't, it's weird how that happens with kids. So, and I was just on the phone with one before I pulled up to talk to y'all, and man, we were going through it and we were talking, and I'm like, I know, son, I was just like that when I was your age. You know what I mean? We were having that whole conversation. So I get it. But anyway, I wanted to include that your mother is here. So by the way,
she's very supportive.
And supportive. Yeah. Yes. And,
but you know, God did not give me this platform or this voice and this mouth not to run it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why.
Well, it's not meaningless stuff. You know, it's not like you're creating content to get attention. You're outraged.
Yeah, I'm outraged.
You know, you said before this happened, you were just like, la-di-da, you probably had some stuff in your boutique or your salon, you know, probably stuff like that. You know, it's kind of fun things with your kids, whatever. And then this blew up, and you're like, how do I talk about this?
Yeah.
You know,
because you know, I have people come to me and they're like, "Well, you talk about, you know, my husband cheated on me, left me with nothing. I can't like that's adult business.
No,
that's adult business.
And you're not going to get on my platform about that either. So
I don't want anything to do with adult business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm you know, you see my TikToks. I have to get on Britney Spears. I just feel so sorry for her. But anyway,
are you a Britney fan?
Oh my gosh! I wish she would let me be her friend. I would be the best friend she ever had.
Yes,
but honey, get off the Instagram.
So I told you, I don't know if I told you this, but the way I found you was my wife came to me. And this is before you started doing that. She got to check out this chick. I think she's from Hernando or something. You know? She goes, she's so passionate, you know, what's going on. And,
but I'm so passionate about this. And what's sad is so many people from this community have reached out to me and said, thank you for giving us a voice because it happened to me and I was silenced.
Well, when my DA show popped up and, you know, so the Local Yokels podcast, by the way, is designed to be kind of centric to the county. Mm-hmm. I didn't do it to be a famous podcaster.
Yeah.
Mine is all to help others shine in what they're doing, helping the community, helping some businesses, and definitely nonprofits and charities.
Yeah.
So I never really expected like the whole world to be seeing anything or anything like that. But with that show, and it just coincidentally happened, you know, that I had him on, but at the time, we'd already had it booked months before maybe, you know, but we finally hit a hard date to where we could both get together. We didn't know what was going to happen with that case, and then it happened, you know. So
in my opinion, that's God's timing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what I'm going to say is as soon as it popped up, all I kept seeing was people tagging Aubrie.
Yeah.
And I thought, who is Aubrie?
Yeah.
And then my wife brought me to TikTok. She's like, she's talking about you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What is going on? You know? So that's how we got connected.
Yeah.
And I thought she really needs a bigger platform, a longer platform to talk about her outrage. So what are some of the details that people may not know about this that maybe you could share with folks? Because you deep dive. Like you've been researching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most of the details are out there. But I know some names. But until I have those letters, I can't. Yeah.
So you know some of the folks who did right. Mm-hmm. And I would say for those folks, the advice I would give them is get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it.
Because it's going to come.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming like a freight train.
Well, yeah, right. And I think on top of that, the DA has requested for
he filed
that to be public.
Friday,
right. So
or Thursday
to unseal the records a little bit because the public needs to know who's in charge.
And the public can also request that.
Sure.
Yeah.
With enough pressure, someone probably will release it. But so get out in front of it and be like, I made a mistake, you know? And if you truly do love Lindsey and you want to support her, then just be that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not a teacher, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's your right. But if you teach in the school district, that is not okay because you're in charge of our children.
Yeah.
I don't care what grade you are in, what it is. You're not protecting the victim.
Right.
And that's your job. And I think that's the biggest issue people have with the school board members. She wrote this character of reference or whatever, but not publicly supported the child. It was in her own district.
Even when she made her statement, that was your perfect opportunity to say, I made a mistake.
Yes.
I didn't know all the facts. I'm human.
Now I know them.
And
I screwed up.
I want to let because I need to stress, I've got to stress this enough.
Okay.
Every single person, like when this came out in August, I wasn't that, big yet,
Sure.
And there were lots of comments on my TikToks. And then when the people that made their comments in support of Lindsey made their post in support of Lindsey, all the comments underneath there that were, we love you endlessly, Lindsey, we'll always support you. What those people don't realize is the family saw all of that.
Yeah.
The family saw that support. They have seen everything. They have seen people going on there saying, she was 17. She was almost an adult, without knowing that the fact was the grooming started at 15.
Yeah.
What the DA say, the touching and all that was 16?
Yeah, that they know of.
That they know of, that they have proof of. So anyway, the family has seen all of that. They have seen every single comment in support. They have seen it. And I wanted at that time to tell everybody, like, I knew the details.
Yeah.
I knew the details. I knew that they had that she had bought concert tickets and paid for nights out and manipulated the family to get out of the house so she could be alone. That she went on these youth trips and provided alcohol. Like, I knew all that.
See, that's the part I didn't know about, the alcohol. Was it more than just the victim that got the alcohol? Was it others?
From what I've been told, the alcohol was provided
as a group,
to kids.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's a part nobody really talks about.
Yeah. I mean, like,
where's the outrage in that?
Yeah,
So,
Like, so
I can tell you this: I probably had an adult buy me some alcoholic beverages as a teenager. Okay, but it was not my youth pastor.
Right.
Just to be clear,
on a youth trip.
On a youth trip. Yeah, I can honestly say that never happened. Yeah. And nor a teacher.
No.
Yeah, neither one.
No.
So might have been a older cousin or something.
Maybe. Or you just stood outside the beer store and was like, hey,
don't tell all the secrets, Aubrie. And your mama's sitting here, for God's sake. She knows,
I tell her things now, and I'm like, Mom, you're never going to believe what I did.
And then she probably says, that ain't nothing. Listen to what I did when I was a kid. Yeah.
She wasn't. She's been a saint her whole life. Her whole life.
That's good.
But anyway, all that was going on, and and I'm not good at being quiet, okay? I'm just not.
No kidding.
And I wanted to be like, I wanted to fight with everybody in the comments, which is what I have learned in the past 2 months that I can't do. I just got to let everybody fight it out themselves.
Yeah.
Is that I wanted to be like, you don't know.
Yeah, you just
and
don't
when
know
the
details.
facts come out, you're going to be shook. You're going to be shook. And now, I thought that the affidavit would be enough because it was explicit, and I couldn't even post that. I had that and I just couldn't post it. Right. I couldn't, out of love for the family, I couldn't post it.
Right.
Other content creators got it and they, busted it wide open.
Sure. Well, you know them a little bit now, so you don't want to hurt them like that.
Yeah, I can't.
And I've talked to one of them, and I think that they're all hurting, and this is going to be a long time,
Bad.
So we're not doing this to continue this. I mean, if ever they call me and say, hey, look, man, let's just shut this down.
Right.
Let's don't talk about it anymore. We wouldn't talk about it anymore.
Right. I've told them that.
And I think that for a second, I wouldn't do another episode about it. We wouldn't ever talk about it. But I think in my mind, what we're trying to do is keep enough outrage in the community until the right thing's done by this judge.
Right, because go back to what we said a minute ago. Like I feel like our governor, higher up political people need to put the pressure.
Somebody can put some pressure.
Address it. Put the pressure.
Yeah.
Like don't leave it to all of us content creators, that have no legal knowledge, about anything.
We're just no experts. We don't have any expertise. So, I always tell people on my show, I just really create a platform for people to talk about it that knows what's going on. But I think even the experts that do know appreciate the help by bringing awareness to a problem. I can almost guarantee you that any kind of child advocacy group or Leo or anybody loves the fact that someone like you is out there advocating for justice. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I want to be clear too, it ain't just about, I've lost friends over this.
I know that.
People whose weddings I were in, people that I have prayed with, for my children.
Because they're friends of the...
Because they are in support of it, which is their right. But you're not going to be friends with me.
That's right.
I don't want anything
I don't
to do
want to associate with you.
Yeah, I just can't associate.
If you can associate with her doing what she did, and at the end of the day, it wouldn't even matter to me if she was not in a position of authority or power.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter to me either.
There was enough age gap to me to where if she wasn't 18, then you got no business, because that's our laws of the land, period. Now,
right, not to mention a 15, 16-year-old mind isn't even done developing.
Not even ready for that. And she's 25, 26. She's a woman, been through college, worldly in aspect. And but the fact that she did have a position of power, that should have had a heavier sentence on it within itself.
Yeah.
That's even more egregious, and they're supposed to penalize you harder for that. when you're in a position of power and influence.
So what is that setting? What kind of tone is it setting?
Exactly. So that's what we're talking about. That's the things I can't get past.
Me either.
And I'm not even close to it. Like, I don't know. I've just kind of like recently popped up with this, but since I was, I guess, brought into it a little bit by having the DA on, and then of course you and the social media that comes with all that stuff, I didn't have a clue it was going to pop off like it did, and but rightfully so, so,
when I first talked to the family, so I also want to stress how graceful they are. Like, when you're called to, lead by example or grace or, biblically, whatever you're called for, they are the epitome of that, of just grace and trying to be understanding, and not just, praying for their child that went through this, but also the abuser.
Yeah.
Like, they are the epitome of what they are called to be. And they have been such a testament, an example to me. But me?
Yeah.
I would burn it all down.
Man, yeah, me too. I think I'd have done drove through somebody's house.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I'm not that guy.
And how many more people are like us?
A lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people outraged right now. I'm not attached to religious organizations or anything else, so I don't have that in me to restrain myself like that, or the grace that I give them. I mean, I am,
and I am having a really hard time with it.
Listen, man, I'm telling you right now, I'm getting too old to fight, but I'd have been fighting for that one.
Like, did you see my TikTok where I was like, I'm going to have to learn how to fight if I'm going to keep running this mouth?
Yeah.
And it was Tybo. I looked like I was doing Tybo.
What's the name? Billy, what was his name back in the day?
Tybo? What was Tybo?
Yeah, he was that guy. Remember
Bill.
Man, I don't even know. But if somebody look that up, send it to me. It's he was a combat fighter.
Yeah.
It was the VHS
Billy Blanks
test.
or something.
Billy Blanks. That's what it was.
Yeah. And that's what I look like. Like, I mean, I got a mouth on me and I'm going to run it, but please don't fight me.
Yeah, please. I'm not ready to fight, is what she's saying. I'm just I'm
but
angry.
I will. Yeah. And the family's not like that. They're right the opposite.
Listen,
They're
I don't know them,
grace.
but everybody that I do know that has somebody on with them, I like I said, I had a conversation with one of them at length one day. They reached out to me. And I was very, very honored to have that conversation. And I told them I was going to do the absolute best I could do to represent their family. And I mean, they were so graceful in the conversation. There was no hatred.
No,
there wasn't any
zero.
of that. Like, there was just, this is a difficult time.
Yeah.
And then after the Barton show released, they sent me a message saying thank you, because we did get the point across of how egregious it was. I don't think the public knew, even with all the content out there, there's so much, like when you think about social media and TikToks, I mean, a million you could look at like in a week, like you just spend days and days that stuff get lost. But the details were so important in this case, like what really happened.
Yeah.
And the bad stuff, we need to hear it, because that's what makes people angry.
Yeah.
And one of our clips that we released talked about, Barton was talking about one of his short clips, what she did on that bus.
Yeah.
And some people was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
I don't want to hear it. I've had somebody say that to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
But you got to hear it.
You got to hear it.
Because that's what makes this so, just unbelievable.
Just
the fact
vile.
that it's vile, because nothing was done about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how, it went on for a while.
Yeah.
This was going on for a long time.
We don't know how long exactly.
We don't know how long.
They keep saying 15 for grooming, 16 for sexual assault, or SA. We'll say SA.
Yeah.
Just in case the TikTok kicks it off. But because we do clips on TikTok.
Yeah.
But the SA happened at 16. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't even know if they actually know, but they know that's what they could stick with and they could prove at that point in time. So, I mean, it could have went on longer.
Yeah.
We don't really know. The victim, until she's ready, and she may never be ready to talk to someone about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. If she, I hope that she does. I do, because I think that she could change things for victims, potential victims, people that are going through it right now and feel scared. I think that she could just really change our county, our state, maybe even the world. I would love for this to get national attention.
Yeah.
For her. For her.
Not to embarrass her.
Not to embarrass her, because she shouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah,
she was an absolute innocent victim, survivor.
Yeah, that's what I see her as now, the survivor of a horrific. To me, that's how I see that.
Yeah.
And in the way that Barton describes her as an individual, man. It's really amazing to see. He got to know her so well because he's with her for almost a year. You know, they're talking regularly, the family. He just, in the amazement of their strength as a family, you know, if the mom and dad are watching this and the grandparents who I know are all involved in this, just remember you're the strength of what makes her strong. Right. You know what I mean? She's seeing you as an example. So when
you feel guilty, like
don't feel guilty
because you made her.
Absolutely. Things like, I would like to think, and I think most parents do, especially men, when it comes to their daughters, especially with their children, you're like, oh, ain't nobody ever going to get to my kid. I mean, I'll kill him. You know what I mean? Well, they have an amazing way, the predators, of finding their way, you know.
Let me pay for your dinner date. Let me buy you a concert.
Absolutely. They manipulate. Manipulation is their key. And so they get close into a school. They get close to the family members. They pick on the ones. And I think in this case, she just picked on a child that had a...
already struggling
a little bit. The parents took her to him. Actually, later, that's the guilt I think they probably have.
And they're so kind.
Yes, absolutely.
They see the good in everybody.
Absolutely. And so don't feel guilty for that because that could have happened to any one of us because we trust, you know. I had a lady today I was watching. She was talking about this case. She was on TikTok, and I was kind of running through what she was saying. And she's like, look, I am a coach. I don't trust nobody with my kids. Like she goes, I can be sitting over there on the side of the sidelines, and if you know who you are when I seen this because they posted recently. Another coach went over and talked to her child, and she went over and go, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to see who she is. And no, not without me here. You don't. You know. Yeah. That's important.
My kids are grown.
Yeah.
So I don't have to I couldn't imagine when I was raising them, there was no social media. So things like this still happened every day. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, I would be the same way. Don't talk to my child without me. Yeah. And I've had younger, I wouldn't say any, I think most of the kids that have reached out to me, I've had kids reach out to me that were in the youth group and stuff through this, you know, privately. And even though they're like, thank you, you know, I'm so upset. Because it's not, you know, there's a whole youth group of children that have been devastated by this, you know.
What about the ones that were around it when it was happening?
Yeah,
and kind of might have not
some
what
of
was
them
going on.
have reached out to me.
Right, they might have known a little bit what was going on.
Well, they knew that there was favoritism there, but they didn't understand the depth of it, obviously. You know, they're young. And even in talking to them, you know, I'll just heart react to or to them or say, I'm so sorry, you know, because I'm leery having a conversation with another person's child, even at 18 years old.
Right.
And so, you know, that's just...
They're not an adult.
They're not an adult.
So it's simple as that.
And I don't know if maybe, I'm sure their parents have talked to them, you know, about this.
Sure. I would advise any parent that has their child come to them and ask them to write a letter on the behalf of their friend to be careful. Yeah. Investigate it really good before you do that.
Yeah, because that's what happened. What happened with Henley. She says that the child, you know, came to her.
Asked her.
And to my knowledge, Ford, she hasn't released anything.
Look, man, I would just say on her particular situation, I'm sure she loves her friend. I'm sure this is what a lot of that is. Yeah. Not to defend her, but there is no defending what this lady did. Yeah. Now, you can associate with her all you want, but there's consequences for your actions. Yeah. You know, if you're going to side with that, you're going to have to
deal with the parents of children in your class
and the children in the classrooms.
Because parents aren't going to trust you now.
No, they're not.
You can't trust anybody that sides
with
that.
And then at the church... You know, she's teaching, you know, I'm not saying that she's that type of pedophile. I don't know that. You know what I mean? Like a young prepubescent child. I don't know that, you know, You know,
I think it just comes down to her being a narcissist.
Could be.
Yeah. And you know, she was, I think that, I don't know, are narcissists born narcissists?
I don't know. I don't know. No expert. If I can ask my friend Hannah Lasapio right now, Hannah, when you see this, are narcissists born narcissists?
What contributes to that? Does giving the child whatever they want their whole entire life, does that contribute to that? I mean, you know, in my opinion, I would think a child that's been reared up with no consequences or disciplines in their life at all kind of contribute to, you know, the narcissistic behavior. And I'm kind of curious to see, I don't know if that behavior can be changed at this level that Lindsey Whiteside's in, because there's, again, been no consequences for her actions. I mean, she's facing public humility and shame and, you know, ridicule right now. But what happens when that narcissist can't control everybody and manipulate the the story.
They leave.
Yeah, what happens?
That's what she's going to have to do.
Yeah.
No, she got to leave here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way she could live in this area.
Because I'm never going to let it die.
No, well, I mean, I think the state's going to have to give her some permissions to go live elsewhere because I think there's enough of this. Most people are going to be like, she's going to have a hard time keeping a job and things of that nature.
Well, I mean, and there's a lot of people out there that are checking that registry every single day. Why ain't she on it? Why ain't she on it?
There's already people on Facebook trying to find out, like, why is her pen so close to that school? You know, I mean, they're doing that stuff already. You know,
I mean, they
need to be on it. Yeah.
I mean, it's public record.
It is public record, and unfortunately, when you register, you're a public record constantly.
Somebody posted in my comments the other day where they got on there and they could see her address was registered.
Yeah.
It's 2 blocks from the school.
That needs to be addressed immediately.
Okay, and then where she's working, there's a daycare in there.
Oof, man. So there's a lot of things that's got to happen.
A lot of things.
Yeah. And I assure you, from Sheriff Tuggle to Misty Gray to Child Advocacy Group to the DA to everybody, law enforcement, whoever's involved in those areas, South Haven Police Department, whoever's got to deal with that, they're on it.
Yeah.
It's not our local people, by the way. Let me reiterate. All of our people here had done exactly what they're supposed to do. It goes back to this one judge, okay? Mm-hmm. This one judge.
Yes.
It's not Lindsey's parents. It's not Lindsey's friends. It's Lindsey and the judge that caused this, okay? Lindsey admitted guilt, should have been to prison, and the judge let her off.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And I think a lot of her supporters, too, maybe are supporting her because of how much they love her mom.
Sure, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know her mom.
And the mom might, in my opinion, I feel like that she reached out to some of these people and were like, will you, because what is his name, TVMO?
Oh, Mark Bullock.
Okay, so he was there and he said the people that got on the stand, which was, her uncle or brother.
Yeah.
And then the Henley and the Ford lady. And, Henley's, I guess, daughter came to her, right. And then I don't know who asked Ford to write the letter, but I'm just assuming that mom, was like, out of your love for me. And that's what they did. And they just followed blindly into that. So, I mean.
But now is the time to go, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just get ahead of it because it's coming. Somebody's going to come. It's going to come out. And then you're going to be.
It's going to come out.
All that
stuff.
list
is coming out.
Absolutely. That's what I try to tell people. Like, there's no hiding from this. Like, it's
somebody's
so public.
Going to leak it.
They are.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a few folks like, I love what the DO's doing, but do they need to lose their jobs? And I'm like, yes, they need to lose their jobs, man. They absolutely publicly supported a pedophile.
Yeah. And of the worst kind.
Yeah. And on top of that, for a long time, like they knew she was guilty.
Yeah.
She pled guilty.
And I think it's even worse. I mean, it's all bad across the board. Like pedophiles are pedophiles and they all belong, split hell wide open if you ask me. It wasn't just that she's just, your run-of-the-mill pedophile. She was a youth pastor.
That's right.
Like, you can't stand on that.
No, and a teacher or a coach or whatever she was.
Yeah.
So, those penalties are supposed to be harsher on them. Yeah. On top of that.
Well, because not just your teachers are held to a higher standard than you or I.
Yes.
Pastors, youth leaders are held to a higher standard than you or I.
Officers of the law.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
All that stuff. They're all held to a higher standard. So.
Well, not this time.
Not this time.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to. I want to reiterate to people so that we don't misrepresent DeSoto County. Because everybody here.
Or the school system.
And the
teachers in that school system.
And the teachers in that school system. There's just a few, there's always bad apples in the orchard. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we're finding them, And they will support, earlier when I was talking about the guy had the 20 kids and they lay him out in 7 years or whatever. He had a slew of teachers go visit him, and pulled for him, And to me, I could never get past that.
No, if it was my child, I wouldn't even go visit him.
Yeah, absolutely. Me neither, by the way. Yeah. I'd be like, no, sir.
I love you. Yeah. I love you. That love from a mother to a child is unconditional, but man. I can't stand by you or support you, and you deserve whatever happens to you. Man's law, God's law. You deserve what happens to you.
But that's the part I can't understand, is like they do support it continually. And I know they might love that person or they're just like, I just don't believe that. Well, when there's so much evidence, okay, you can privately not believe it, but you as a representation of the school district, you need to sit down and hush. Now, this is a serious issue. This is not about something that's public knowledge that just everybody's talking about. So and so said this on Facebook or whatever. This is real deal, serious content of a child.
Yeah.
This is a child, a victim. It is a child, and we have to stand behind them at all times.
Yeah.
We need all people, and I think that's happened here, by the way.
I think so too. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, the whole community is behind
Somebody
this
said
victim.
on Hernando Happenings the other day, I can't believe that we've all come together as a community and have collectively not argued about this.
One guy I know of, you posted him, by the way. I don't know how you found him.
Somebody tagged me.
Mr. No Neck.
Yeah.
Everybody was on him about
People need to look at him.
Yeah, for sure.
They need to search up his history.
Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, why would you even? He just wanted likes.
Is it rage bait? Got to be.
It's got to be. Yeah. So going back to that, our county officers, our county prosecutors, our advocacy groups for the children, all the LEOs, the school district themselves, the board, 90% of them, apparently, everybody's great.
Yeah.
And
I'm hard on them.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, I think
they have come through.
Yeah, they've come through, man. And I think that I want to thank them all because they do an amazing job. So let's don't let our outrage get to the past the point.
We got to remember what
the
the story this is. I've seen like the guy that's been up there protesting, and that story kind of went to him and the altercation between him and the cop, and where that is. That's not the point of this story.
The point of it is the outrage was, why is she walking around in public working? Yeah. And I don't know if it's true. Somebody had told me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the victim was working close by in another store. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm wrong. So don't quote me on that.
Now, the mom worked in the same shopping center.
Okay, that's maybe what it was. The mom of the victim? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what it was. So,
and she doesn't anymore. I mean, she didn't want to leave where she was employed at all.
No.
And that's more my outrage too. Like, she shouldn't have had to leave her. And I'm not saying that it was the employers made her at all. I want to make that a fact. I think it was her choice. That it was too much for her.
Right.
Those other businesses can't control what's going on there. They can't control where she works. But just like they should have never felt like they had to leave the church. Like it's I don't understand. And that's what I just can't swallow at night. This is what keeps me up at night if I don't take my Ambien.
Yeah.
Is how anybody.
Golly, girl. What else are we taking, Aubrie?
Listen, I can't give up that Ambien. My dad tries to tell me all these like natural remedies, and all my friends try to fuss at me about healing your gut health, and I just want an Ambien.
I understand.
But anyway, when I'm not sleeping at night, like this keeps me up at night. Like my whole thoughts every day in, day out is about this, and why. Like I don't like. Why was just know, like the people that didn't support the victim, like now mind you, people that were outwardly supporting the victim were also friends of the family. The family was watching these same people support
friends of what family?
The victim's family.
And they were supporting the
Whiteside.
abuser.
Yeah, the families had to be.
Well, because of the church dynamic, I think. Right? Yeah.
Because we don't want any division. Well,
right.
Like.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to that. That's BS. All right.
Yeah.
So we know what that means. I call that what it is. At the end of the day, it's dollars. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but like that's, I think if I was a pastor of the church, I would be, first of all, that person would be dismissed immediately. And then we would have no contact with them until law enforcement cleared their name. Maybe take one other person and say, hey, you go deal with them. Check on them until we get this figured out. But other than that, no contact between anybody, And I
would have had my hind end at that trial.
Oh, yeah. And immediately went to the victim and their family and wrapped my arms around them and the whole love of the church to find out how we can help you, how we can heal you. And maybe they did, but not publicly. I haven't heard that. And for me to know that the whole family left that church because they didn't get that and the support for the other person.
The family felt no support.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. That's where the outrage is. And you made a mistake, whoever the powers to be at that church.
You took some bad legal advice.
Clearly. Just keep the lawyers out of it.
Why is lawyer in church anyway?
If you're religiously and you're tied to Jesus and God, go what's in your heart. You know what I mean? Protect the innocent.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
My point. But I do want to say real quick, I don't interrupt you, quick that there were it doesn't reflect on the members.
No, I'm not saying that.
And I know you're not, but I just want to clarify that there are some.
The leadership.
It's the leadership.
Yeah, that's right.
The leadership.
I know some amazing people that go to that church.
I do too.
Yeah, I do. And I don't want to discredit them.
I don't either, because they have supported.
Yes.
They've supported.
Yes. I'm not saying it's that church, but the whole congregation.
It's not the body of the church.
No. It's really just
the leaders.
The number.
They failed. The shepherd failed his flock in this situation.
There you go. And I bet you right now they're all trying to figure out how to handle this.
The only way to handle it is to come out and say, I failed.
Yeah.
Period.
And ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's what you preach.
Yeah, I mean, that's what God does, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if the family can pray for forgiveness over an abuser.
And are doing that.
Yes,
they're doing that.
But the church leadership can't stand up and say, we failed this victim and her family.
All right. And so let's clear up why that is.
The almighty dollar.
That's it. Yep. I think so.
It's my opinion.
And it's egos. That too.
And bad advice.
Yeah, bad advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd fire that attorney, by the way.
Me
just to be clear. Yeah, I would just fire them. Yeah.
I mean, again, blaming on me growing
Even
up
if they're
in
a congregation member and they just giving you free legal advice, just let them be a member and just tell them we're no longer going to seek your counsel because you totally misled us on this one. Yeah,
I said, me growing up in your old country church, your old country Baptist church, I ain't never heard of churches, outside of Joel Osteen having legal counsel.
Exactly.
Like, isn't that a huge contradiction of the Bible?
It is, especially if she admitted guilt. So, at the end of the day, I even think she admitted it to the pastors or whoever, when they asked her, they was like, it's going on.
I mean, they immediately fired her and put out the memo.
Yeah. And then went to the cops after that, but they should have went to the cops first.
Yeah.
And then let them address
because they
her.
gave this narcissist time to spin the narrative. And that's exactly what she did, period.
And that's why we got letters of reference to the judge. Yeah, that's exactly why when you go back to the back.
I've heard so many people say they didn't know. But I just want to keep saying over and over again, and this is what I keep screaming.
Yeah.
Prior to this, I had no personal relationship with the family prior to this.
Yeah.
And it took me 5 minutes to get that affidavit. So if you didn't do, and this just in general, do your own research.
Yeah.
Like, I was questioning, is this right? This don't sound right. Something's off here. Why is she showing up to church at the Easter services?
Yeah.
The abuser to the church.
Still.
Yeah. Why is she showing, something ain't right here. So my red flags got to turning, and I just typed in her name and affidavit, and boom, it was up. Third click on my browser.
So she's still been going to church even during all this time.
She did. I can't speak. I think now as of Easter.
Yeah. So they should have just banned her from everything because of the guilt.
I mean, I feel like it,
public says that, but that's their choice.
That's their choice, and I feel like again, it wasn't the family's sin.
Again,
and they wanted to attend church, whatever. The church can't say. You can't. I know that the church can't say you got to be open door to everybody. Everybody's sinners. Everybody deserves to be able to walk through your church door and hear the word. But you should have. I feel like, as a pastor, if I was a pastor, I would have said, there's 19,000 other churches. Pick one.
Yeah.
You can go get the word from anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here. We have to take care of this victim and her family.
Or get on there and watch Joel Osteen. I mean, whatever you want to do. Right. Like, you can get your word from anywhere.
Yeah, you don't even have to sit in a church.
But as you called her a narcissist, I don't know that for sure about her, but you say it is because you know her a little bit too outside of church and things of that nature.
I feel like it would take a narcissist to be accused of what she was and have it so public and still be like, fit check.
Yeah. Could be. So that's probably part of the reason why she still wanted to interject herself into the church every day.
She needs
every time,
that validation.
Probably.
She needed that validation from the congregation. She needed that validation from her friends and family to tell her, bless your heart, you're an adulterer. That's what she called herself.
Yeah.
And yet the Bible does speak about...
but that's not the same thing.
Right. Yeah, like there's adultery and then there's pedophilia.
That's right. There's two different things there. Yeah. And what's the other one about the millstone?
It's better to millstone around the neck than to harm a child.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
like, that's what you didn't do. That's where I fault the leadership of the church.
Exactly.
Like, you that's dead faith.
Yes.
That's dead faith.
Yeah, I think that the Millstone quote's a good one.
Yeah, because like the God that I know, the God that I serve, he was with the victim.
Yeah,
like he was angry. He gets angry. God don't not get angry.
Yeah,
like he gets angry at those, and especially those that harm a child. And
anytime you have an underage victim, it's our job as society is to protect them immediately.
Just human nature. Where's human nature in this situation?
And no matter how quote unquote compliant at the time the person or the victim may have been or not been, it doesn't matter. You're the adult. It's your job to go, hey, this is wrong. We don't need to take this any further. Yep. I had a lapse of judgment for just a minute, and then I realized that I'm way, like past what. That's your job as an adult, especially the position of power and leadership. Yeah. So
and
folks,
no one in position or leadership like that I know of stepped back and said, I got to go. Let me see with the victim. Let me see about the victim. Let's support this victim. Let's stand with this victim.
That's the outrage I have is just the lack of outward support. I know they want to put her name out there, and I understand that. Like, we don't want her to be judged, until she's ready to be by the public. I know that she knows all this stuff's going on about her. Yeah. And if you're listening, we support you 100%. 100%. Like, you're so strong. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And no fault.
Yeah. No fault at all.
No fault at all on you.
No fault at all.
And trust me when I say everybody knows that. Everybody is under that.
Yeah.
Same
except for that
notion.
Fat dude on TikTok. Yeah, but guess what, girl? We roasted him.
Yeah, we did.
We all tore him up. Yeah,
and I will roast anybody for you, sister.
Yeah, that's right. So, and the family as well. Yeah. Anything else you want to add today, Aubrey? Like, we had a fun show.
I have my notes, but I think I covered all of them.
Did you?
I mean, at the end of the day, we've had a fun show. We've laughed. We've been serious. But on a serious note, it does break my heart for the church. I attended the church there.
Well, you know some amazing people there.
And I know some amazing people there. But, God calls us to stand in truth, and protect children.
Yeah.
And, that's where Christ stands. And you got to take legal counsel out of that.
Sure.
There's not room for both, And I just, to any victim, like, don't let this be discouraging.
Sure.
If you don't feel like you have support from anyone else, you have it from me and my following, right. and so I stand with the victim, and that's where we all should be.
And let's get on this judge's ass.
Yeah, y'all.
Guys, get back on it, man. Anything you can do. Call your local senator.
Tate Reeves.
Reeves. Tag him, whatever. If you know somebody, say something. Yeah.
We have a senator, was it, Michael McClendon?
Yes, I know Michael.
Him and his family came out and there was a little grassroots event at the square the other night. Okay. Him and his family were there. They held signs. Good. And so, you got him. But we need more of him to come out.
Well, there is more of him. You're just talking about this district he's in, which, by the way, he's a nice guy, and I know he'll fight for her, the victim, and try to bring the outrage part of it. For county superintendents, to school board members, to mayors, to chiefs of police, they need to be on the outrage with all of us because
have any of them made statements?
I don't know. I haven't
seen any. I know that Lauren McClendon, who's our newly elected alderman
at large,
has.
By the way, co-host of Derek's show, The Real Hernando, by the way. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. She's actually on...
Is she?
Yeah, she does.
She stands firm.
She's an amazing lady. I reached out to her back when... I think that Michael had actually introduced me to her on the... trying to get her on my podcast, and we couldn't work it out at the time because there was a lot going on, but she wound up getting with Derek, who runs SRP Studios, and they do one. She's a co-host on there for The Real Hernando. Okay. That's what it's called. So she's really sharp, man.
Yeah, she is.
You have the powers to be. We got aldermen in every city in this county. All right,
especially
Mayors.
South Haven. She works and lives there.
Yeah.
We need to hear from you.
Yeah, we need to hear from you, Mayor Muscle White. All those guys. They have influence to be enraged by it. Don't stay quiet. I don't even care.
They're staying quiet.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't
have my opinions.
I don't want to speak for them. They could be friendly with the family. I don't really know. I really don't.
Well, in my opinion, that's just unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
You go stand with the victim.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is why victims don't come forward.
So, but again, though, I don't want to blame any of them because nobody here has done anything wrong but support publicly. All the powers to be have done the best job they can. It's this one single judge.
Yeah.
that did this.
Yeah, and it's time for these elected, officials with high powers to call it out.
Yeah. Put some pressure on him.
Yeah, put some pressure on him.
We got one shot to hopefully, if it's from what I understand anyway, and also possibly an illegal sentence they're talking.
Yeah, what's that, ISP?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And sex offenders aren't qualified for that?
Correct.
So how did she get on that in the first place?
I don't know, and I think that's what the DA is.
This is why you should bring a retired judge.
Right. But I think that's where the DA, he's, the one shot we got at from the state Supreme Court to ask him to revisit the sentencings, but there's also that illegal part of it to where maybe they can do something else. And I don't know all the details, so I don't want to start talking about that.
Somebody tell us.
Yeah, somebody tell us. Get in here and tell us. So, again, I want to thank DA Barton for doing the show because, he didn't have to do.
He's impressing me so much.
Man, that guy is strong, man.
And
he's about the people of this county and trying to be protective of victims.
I think when he was running for election, he said he wanted to come in and clean this out.
He did. By the way, new office, new people. Yeah. And he works really well. I think sometimes, they all get a little bit frustrated with each other, because you got one department trying to do this and you got powers to be that's in charge. Yeah. And I think where he has learned and like he and the sheriff and the chiefs, they've learned to like, hey, if you got a problem, just you pick up the phone and call me if you're having a problem within my agency and let's get this thing fixed. And that's where they're working really well together because there'll be miscommunications and things of that nature probably to where it frustrates it makes them all look bad if something goes wrong, Yeah. So instead, they just, head to head, let's get the department heads over it, and that's where the key is. And I'm thankful for all those amazing people to keep us safe here in the county.
Because we're human and everybody makes mistakes.
We do.
Even up on them high end levels,
Yeah. The biggest thing is just own it. This is what we teach our children, right? If you make a mistake, own it, acknowledge it, and just ask for forgiveness. Yeah. And not always will it be great. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always going to be like just a slap on the hand. There's going to be consequences for your actions, but it will make you be a better human being, and you will learn from it, hopefully.
Yeah, and we're watching these people, like we're watching you as we're moving forward. We're watching you.
Yeah.
Like you said, get out ahead of it.
And vote, by the way.
Yeah, our voter turnout's the pits around here.
It is, because we've trusted too much that it's a good old network.
Yeah,
and
it is.
And it's slowly going away. We've gotten new blood in here from Sheriff Tuggle to new mayors, new DA, all that stuff. A lot of times, when somebody sits in a position like that for multiple terms, it gets real complacent, and then you just expect him to be in the next time nobody gets out and votes. And it is kind of bad. We have a real low turnout at times.
Hopefully this is a changing point.
I hope so. Yeah.
So I feel like so much can come from this situation.
I think so.
Not even just, about victim support.
Right. Not even just, about predator stuff, but just like pay attention, get out here, we don't have a local news network, by the way. Like, we depend on each other's social media to find out what's going on in the community, because News Channel 3 will show up today, but then that's lost 10 minutes later on a news story they're doing in Memphis, so
that's why we got to keep this, because there's a lot of pressure right now, but like you said, we got one shot for this judge to hear us,
and we can still wear him out, from our standpoints. So we got to do it.
Has anybody posted his email? I know I've seen.
Man, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm trying to stay kind of neutral from a standpoint of a platform, but I got a feeling, folks, in the future, Aubrie would make a great podcast person. What do y'all think? Y'all can chime in about that. She may need her own Aubrie Johnson spilling the tea. You know what I mean? That would be great. That would be great. Wouldn't you think, Mom?
Yeah, I would love to do
I know
that.
You would, yeah.
I would love, because I just don't feel, people have asked me, are you scared? And I was like, okay, like in the beginning,
maybe
like when I
nervous.
had somebody, that is, works at the courthouse to say my time was coming. I was a little bit that weekend, I was like, oh, y'all, but that's fleeting for me.
Yeah, that is.
Real fleeting.
Yeah.
So I like holding people accountable.
Yeah. And if I do something wrong, I'll apologize for it. Like, I'm not perfect either.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But there again, I'm not supporting known pedophiles. Yeah. So
I also say I took my skeletons out the closet and taught them how to dance.
Yeah, did you?
So
you just get it out there.
So I just get it out there. Like,
I love that.
What do y'all? Something? What do you want to talk about? I'll tell you. Look, you pop on to TikTok around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I tell you everything about me.
Gosh.
So.
Yeah. And my wife will be watching you, by the way. So, Annalie, she's chiming in. So, yeah. But anyway, look, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming in, spending the time at short notice. But I thought, man, we need to get on this because, your fans can see of what you're trying to do, the hard work you're trying to do, and everybody. Some people don't understand the social media aspect. Part of it is, especially when we're trying to keep something going, the reason why we're trying to keep this going is to get the judge to do the right thing. That's just justice. We're after justice for the victim. That's period. That's it. That's all we're trying to do here. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So with that, thank you guys for tuning in, and remember to check out Aubrie's TikTok, Facebook. What is your, that's another thing. What's your call? Like, are you the same on all platforms?
Aubrie Johnson on Facebook, and then on TikTok, it's AJ72014. But it's Aubrie.
It's just Aubrie.
It's just Aubrie.
Yeah, it's just Aubrie with an IE. Yeah.
And my profile picture is just like Grim Reaper.
Okay.
I mean, it's me just staring a hole through you.
I meant to do that. I meant to talk to you about that a little bit. So we just got to talking right away, so we didn't talk about our platforms. But remember, you can like and follow us. That's always good. We need to follow. So, I mean, that's a big thing because that's how we get more word out about things. It's not about really, for me personally, it's not about anything other than just bringing people aware to what's going on in the community. So
because I've been accused of even, you're just trying to build your platform. Like a lot of people in support of Lindsey has said that. I mean, first of all, because I want y'all to know.
Yeah.
And another thing is I'm not perfect all the time. And if I post something that's misinformed, I'll redact it.
Sure.
But if I'm posting it, I know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Yeah. And if I mess up, I'll apologize immediately. I may not redact it, but I'll tell you I'm sorry. Because I own this, by the way. So,
well, you know what? Maybe I won't redact it because that's my TikTok.
That's right.
And I built that brick by brick.
That's right. Brick by brick.
So I'll tell you I'm wrong. Or if,
go.
I'll tell you, all right, this person redeemed themselves.
Gotcha. But remember, guys, to always support your local businesses, friends, buy from them. If it's a little bit more, doesn't matter. Spend it with them. Don't hate on them for being successful. And therefore, don't hate on Aubrie for being successful. She's turned it up, turned it out. She's bringing a lot of focus on a lot of things. And not just this, by the way. There's other things you get on people's butts about, too. So I apprate that. And thanks for coming in today.
It's all from my heart.
That's right. That's right. You got a big heart for it. All right, guys. Till next time. Thanks.
TTYL.
Bye.